Hey there, it's Rachel Mullins, the host of Hashtag No Filter Fridays on Public House Media.
This is Liz Colburn, host of The Morning Uplift here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back and check out my show, The Morning Uplift, where we talk about finding your beauty in the journey. A new show comes out twice a month on the first and third Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of The Morning Uplift. Thank you again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Pals.
Welcome back to Crowned and Dangerous. I'm Maddie.
And I am Jess.
And this is our Miss America recap episode. Now, Jess and I did not make predictions this year with the new branding, so we're just going to jump right in to our thoughts on the live telecast, maybe some favorite gowns and contestants, our overall thoughts, and then we will be out of here.
Yeah, let's roll right through. So, I definitely did not make predictions this year. Sometimes I do, if I see a strong contestant here and there, but this year I definitely did not, because I did not know what to expect. I had no idea what to expect, especially because, I mean, the prelim talent is worth 50%, so I was like, I have no idea who could maybe carry through, and everything is just very, very different, so I couldn't really predict, so I kind of steered clear of that.
You're so right. The judging criteria itself is so different, and we're just not used to this format. So it was kind of hard to give any guesses because what they're looking for this year is maybe not necessarily they were looking for last year.
Right, exactly. I want to jump right into their opening number for the live telecast and just kind of the way that they kicked off the show, because they started out, I know usually they do kind of an opening where the contestants are around Atlantic City and in popular places, and they introduce themselves and they're singing, or not singing, they're not singing, they're dancing. They're dancing their way through Atlantic City, and that's always really fun to watch. But this year they started it off where they were all on stage and they said like a descriptive word, like confident or empowered or persistent or something like that. And I kind of like that. I thought that kind of fit with this new empowerment kind of thing that they're trying to go with. So I wasn't mad. Right.
Like I said, I was so used to, because every other year they always have the outgoing Miss America saying, you know, from the iconic Boardwalk Hall, here are the 53 contestants vying to take my crown. I am like Mina Blue, or you know, whoever it was, and they cut them to them singing, or sorry, not singing, but I mean, I guess they're lip syncing to the music.
That's right. Okay, that's why I thought of that.
Yeah, and then dancing around, looking, you know, glamour shots and everything on the bumper cars. But like you said, it was a lot more subdued, which I kind of liked. And then the music choices were the same as they were at MA18, which is The Greatest Showman, which is really good.
I love it.
I didn't like, though. So in the past, they used to introduce themselves when they were, you know, dancing and doing fun stuff on the beach. And then they would always do that little segment about their state.
Oh, like something corny.
Yeah, something super corny. But this year they just went up to microphones and they said their name, their school / major, and then, but do you know who the real star was of that yesterday?
Michigan.
Yes.
Michigan. Yeah. This girl's a savage.
She was so good. I was like, she is the real queen.
Oh, I have a quote. I have the quote of exactly what she said during her intro. And she said, "From the state with 84% of the U.S. freshwater, but none for its residents to drink, I am Miss Michigan, Emily Sioma." And I was like, oh, girl, bring in the tea, because the Flint water crisis is still very real. And I'm glad that she drew attention to that, but that was savage.
It was. Well, and especially since those, like, the contestants don't do that anymore. They don't say those little blurps anymore.
No.
So I was kind of surprised that she did. But then again, a lot of the states were either saying, I am blank, 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 Wisconsin, or I am blank Miss Wisconsin. Did you notice that? How some said Miss and some didn't? That's what the whole new rebranding thing.
I know.
Rumor
And
has
it doesn't say Miss on their sashes anymore.
No, but Miss America's does, which I think it's interesting. But I heard rumors that they want to get rid of the Misses completely. Did you see the Instagram from the sash company?
Yes.
And how the new local sashes, the new state sashes, and the new national one. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah, all of the sashes are changing. They don't have the rhinestones on them anymore. And I don't get what that message is sending.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh, well. Anyway, moving on. Also, another thing that I was kind of surprised about in the introduction was that, like, where is Cara? Like, she introduced herself very briefly as Miss America, and then she was gone for, like, the whole show, and I was so sad.
Right.
I don't know. Like, she actually ended up, I was watching the Miss America Instagram story, and she was sitting in the audience. She was like, just watching Miss America from the audience. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, she should be incorporated more in the show. And maybe we can talk about this a little later, but her mom also posted on Facebook and was like, friends and family don't bother coming because Cara does not have a place in this show this year. And it was really upsetting. We can talk about that later, but I was sad that Cara wasn't really included.
Me too. But then again, it's never really about the outgoing Miss America.
Right.
It's always like, here's your 20-second farewell at the end, wave, and then crown them and then get off.
Right. It's never about the outgoing, which is really sad because it's a busy year, but I don't know. Showbiz.
Right. And it's, you have to think about ratings too. Like, people just want to see the new contestants.
Right. Or candidates.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
All right. Let's jump into the areas of competition. So 25% of the candidates' score is from preliminaries. So they all did preliminary competition. They competed in every area, and then they chose a top 15 based on those scores. So they kicked off the show by announcing the top 15. And let's see, top 15 was Florida, Minnesota, DC, Colorado, Idaho, Wisconsin, Louisiana, Indiana, Massachusetts, Washington, Nebraska, New York, Connecticut, Oklahoma, and Alabama. One thing that I don't know if I was really surprised, I guess, but something that I noticed was that Virginia was a preliminary onstage interview winner, and she did not make it into the top 15, which was interesting to me.
That is interesting. But, so the new scoring, and with 51 girls, think how close the scores must be. I mean, there can't be that much variety between them.
No, it's gotta be like seriously within so close. So close.
Oh, exactly.
So I don't really know, like, top 15, I guess, were standouts. I don't know. There was nobody that really, like, I was like, okay, this girl will for sure make it in to top 15. Because I thought it was kind of anybody's game, especially with new scoring.
Right.
So top 15, I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is our crop of girls. So I was kind of just trying to figure out who was standouts among them then.
Right. I kind of had my pick. I didn't really pick much before the top 15. I kind of, looked after and was kind of like, okay, maybe, but what do I know at this point,
What do I know? I have no idea anymore. I want to talk about, so once they announced the top 15, then they went into the onstage interview. And I know in marketing and previews and things like that for Miss America, they were like, there'll be so many twists and
did they give a twist?
Well, basically the twist was that it was going to be like peer-to-peer interviews. So it wasn't going to be an MC asking the questions. They were going to be asking each other, which was very weird to me.
It's weird, but at the same time, like, how is that a twist? It's more like, I mean, I was waiting the whole show. I'm like, okay, so where was the twist? Because I must have missed it.
I thought the twist would be like they would include like an extra girl or something like that, or like a judge's choice or something. Because they've done that in the past.
This year?
I have no idea who People's Choice was, honestly.
Did they do one?
I think so. I should find that out.
That's weird because they used to do a top 15 or 16? 15?
Yeah.
And then top 12 and then I think the top things were easier though this year to go from like 15 to 10 to 5.
Yes.
Because before it was like 15, 12, and then 10.
7. Yeah.
And 7.
It was super weird. And I'm glad that it ended up, because I know in past years at the crowning, it's like 4 girls standing up there, or
Which
like
I don't
3 or 4
like,
girls waiting.
because then the girls who didn't win, they get more time on the telecast than the girls who did place. So I was kind of like, I don't think that's really fair, but whatever.
Yeah. So I guess I'm glad that it narrowed down eventually to a final 2. But anyway, so they did peer-to-peer onstage interviews, which was strange to me. I don't know. It was interesting. I thought it should just be MC. Like, I feel like that would really throw me off if like one of my fellow candidates was asking me my onstage question. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have mixed feelings about that.
Yeah, I do too. Last night when they first announced that, I was kind of like, I didn't know what was going on. But then now looking back, I just don't really care. Is that bad? I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever.
Whatever. But the thing that, I don't know, I was frustrated by was that every single one of those answers sounded so rehearsed.
Okay, this is the point. I remember what makes me so mad is that in the past, all the onstage questions or whatever were all political, and that they were very hard questions. They were hard political questions that, as a country, we don't even have answers to, but they would expect girls from ages 18 to 24 to have them. Mm-hmm. And that's why people would make so much fun of pageant contestants or competition candidates, for sounding quote unquote stupid or unintelligent or idiots. And then now they give them, in my opinion, a lot easier of questions, about their platforms or social impact initiatives, or what would they do as Miss America, or something regarding to the job, which I do think is a lot more relevant. But at the same time, they were a lot easier. And they made everyone sound pretty good. I don't think that there was really one bad answer.
No. And I agree with that. And I did have mixed feelings about this onstage interview, because I do think that the questions were relevant. Like, it's stuff that an audience or the public should probably hear about. Like, of course, people see politics on the news all the time, but they don't really know what the job of Miss America is. So I'm glad in a way that they ask questions about their platforms and about the Miss America program, and what they would do if they were Miss America. But
how was it an interview? It was one question,
right? And they only have 20 seconds. It's just an onstage question. But I was kind of upset that they all sounded so rehearsed, because I'm like, this organization is constantly preaching that we are smart women, we are educated women, but at the same time, everyone was coming off as robots. So I wish it was almost a little bit more natural, but I don't know how much you can control that, I guess.
I think the social impact initiative statements during Evening Gown were a lot more robotic. I didn't really mind a lot of the answers to the onstage interview. But do you remember last year too, they used to do the kind of quote unquote fun question before? Like, before they would give the question. Do you remember that, to make them seem more relatable or fun? Honestly, the word relatable has become so desensitized now, I think. Like,
what is relatable?
Which I have a really big point to come back to later, so don't let me forget that. But let's move on.
Yes. So from these onstage interviews or onstage questions, they narrowed it down then to a top 10. So who made top 10? Let's see. We have DC, Louisiana, Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Nebraska, New York, and Idaho. And I was a little bit surprised, because Indiana, I've been following her for a little bit, and her answer was just spot on for her interview. And I was a little bit surprised that she didn't make it into the 10. And she also has a fantastic talent. So I don't know.
Right.
She was one that I was a little bit surprised didn't make it into 10.
I feel like there's always like one or two that you kind of didn't really, you just don't really know.
Yeah, exactly. There were definitely a couple in the mix that I was like, oh, she had a good answer though. So I don't know.
Right.
It's like we always say, it's a crapshoot. So.
Oh yeah. So then we move on to the 20% red carpet / statement. So the evening wear portion.
Yes.
Of the competition, and then they give a statement about them or their platform, and they were kind of asked, hey, the whole world is watching, what do you want to say, or
right,
sort of thing, which honestly a lot of them I don't really remember a lot of the statements, because I think that those were the really robotic and rehearsed ones. But But then again, how can they not be if you're asked to prepare? You know, if you
Right.
then you obviously want to get it right. Did you have any favorite gowns that you liked really quick?
Ooh, my favorite gowns, I really liked DC, I think just because it was a different color. So she had it was a form-fitting gown and it was velvet, but it had like
Yeah,
a leather, like one shoulder off the shoulder,
it
and it
was
was like a plum
stunning.
purple. Oh, it was beautiful on her. I thought it was timeless and classic. And I also loved Florida's.
Florida's was beautiful. It
Oh,
was
so pretty,
it's
like
like
a champagne shimmery gown. New York too, the girl who won Miss America, she was in a form-fitting white gown with like a ruffle shoulder. It was just classic and it looked great on her.
I
Um,
remember, do you remember, this is a little bit obscure, but do you remember Kira Kazantz's prelim evening gown?
yes.
It reminds me so much of that. I think New York has a very distinct style sense when it comes
Yes.
to evening gowns because to me, a lot of them look very similar.
Well, because Mallory Higgins was also very
Yes,
similar to that too.
I think it's a New
Okay.
York thing.
I'm a fan though. I'm a fan. I liked
Mhm.
it. I liked it a lot. So during this red carpet statement evening wear kind of thing, they had it wasn't just the candidate that was stepping out. It was all of the contest or candidates, I guess. They were all on the runway clapping and like standing there on stage, which I thought was cute. Like it's nice that everybody's encouraging one another, but I also thought it was a little bit distracting in
Right.
terms of like production.
I agree.
Um,
It's a
but
kind of
yeah,
hard. It's hard because I like how they were supporting each other.
yes, me too.
Um, because back in the day they had them all sitting on the stage, but at the same time, it is the people. It's someone else's moment too.
Hmm.
So
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was nice, but it was a little bit distracting from like a viewer's perspective.
Hmm.
Just because like that's that one girl's shining moment to like wear this beautiful gown on stage. And I understand that the non-finalists also were able to wear their gowns on stage, but I was like, oh, but that top 10, like that is their time. But anyway, I don't know.
Right.
Um, Overall, I don't know. I wish that they had more of like a more time on stage, I guess, during evening wear to like show off their gowns and model their gowns and like turn around and show a nice like open back or something. But it was just like they walked down the stairs and on this runway and then answered their question and were off stage. So I don't know. I don't know. Mixed feelings.
Right. Talents.
Oh, talent. Okay. So talent was interesting because in past years they've narrowed it down from evening gown. Like they narrow it down from like 12 to 7 or 10 to 7 or something like that to talent, but they kept the same top 10. So the top 10 competed in both evening gown and talent, which was 30%. So I
Right.
was interested and I was glad that we could see all top 10 do talent. I
Right.
think that was kind
I
of
think
cool.
because last year it would be top 15, and then they would all do swim, and then the 12 of them would do evening gown, and then
Yep.
10 of them would do talent, and then 7 of them would do onstage question, and then
Okay.
5 would make the top 5 because there was always 2 extra girls standing.
Right. I think you're right.
But my favorite talents, I'm a little bit biased because I'm a dancer and I love
Mhm.
ballet, so I liked Alabama's a lot. Her ballet I thought was really good. Did you like the ballet?
I did. I thought it was super cute and entertaining. Again, like I've never done point in my life, but from an audience, I really enjoyed watching her because I thought she is just so cute. I loved Alabama. I loved her from the start. I think she's so fun, but I think her talent was entertaining as well. I was a fan of it.
I
She was
liked
one of
it.
my favorites.
I actually danced to that song one time. So that was it's always kind of cool to see something that on the Miss America stage. But
Hmm.
and I thought it was different because I think with ballet on the Miss America stage, it's either really classical or it's like very edgy. It's kind of
Right.
and hers was a little bit different because it was a song called Hoedown. So that was really cool. We had 2 monologues, singing, piano.
There
Uh,
was a good variety.
yeah,
I
I
was I was I was impressed actually because there was like we had a dancer, we had instruments, we had monologue, we had singers, but then we also had opera. New York also did opera. So it was a nice variety, and I was glad that we were able to see a bunch. And I
right.
don't think there have ever been 2 monologues in top
No.
10 before.
I liked Connecticut's clogging a lot. I thought that was really good.
Hmm. Yep. Yeah, I think it was fun. Again, I don't know Irish dance at all, but I think it was pretty entertaining.
I was surprised there were no lyrical dancers. I miss seeing the Rachel
Yeah.
Wyatt and the Susie Roberts.
Oh,
Mary
see, that's the
Catherine
thing.
Fetchel, Victoria Cohen. I miss those.
Beautiful dancers. And I think that was one thing that was different about this year's Miss America is that I don't know, I think there was a higher caliber of talents in previous years.
I think so too.
And I'm not sure why that is, but like it's interesting though because this year in prelims, talent is worth 50% of your score.
Right.
So I was expecting like some hardcore, really, really awesome talents. And not that the talents were bad, but it was like I feel like I've seen really awesome performances in past years.
I'm just used to seeing a lot of lyrical dancers, the ventriloquists, quite a few operas, a lot of
Yes.
even jazz or a lot of point.
Yes.
And that just was kind of missing this year. So I found myself missing that a lot.
Yeah. I missed a few lyrical. I love watching lyrical, a good lyrical.
Good, yeah.
But I was also really entertained by Florida's piano piece. Like usually piano is not like I don't really get excited watching piano,
Right.
but hers was just amazing. So I was kind of blown away by Florida.
Agreed.
And
then honestly, final questions. To me, a lot of them, I think they all did a really good job. They stood right in front of the judging panel, though.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just back up a second. So talent, all top 10 did talent, and then after talent, they narrowed it down then to the top 5. So after they announced top 5, nothing else was really scored because it was just basically the final question, and then they did final ballot and they chose, who would be best for the job. So top 5 ended up being New York, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Florida, and Connecticut. And I don't know, I was a tad surprised that Massachusetts got in there because I don't think her talent went as she expected it to be.
Okay. Right.
I don't know. She's a singer. She's a very good speaker. She won an interview prelim.
I thought she had a really good question.
Oh yeah, she was a rock star. I mean, all of her answers across the board were just like,
wow.
I don't know. I loved her. She was very spunky and very outspoken, but I wasn't sure if the judges would like that.
Right.
And I definitely didn't think that Gretchen would like that because Gretchen was looking for someone who would definitely like follow her.
Fun note, it was really funny because she's been blocking a lot of people on Twitter who tweet at her, and I was actually with I think it was 2 or 3 people while we were watching Miss America, and they tweeted at her and they all got blocked within 5 minutes of tweeting her. So her team must have been working overtime to get rid of those tweets, which I think is kind of funny, and at the same time kind of like, is that why she wasn't on the telecast? Was she too busy blocking people's tweets instead of
blocking people on Twitter? Oh my god. Right. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if I was expecting Gretchen to be on the telecast. Maybe I was.
I wasn't, just because I think that a lot of people would be really mad.
People would literally probably stand up and boo.
Exactly.
People are so upset. So I don't know. Questionable. But okay, so narrowed down to top 5. Then they did the final question. Let's see. I don't know. I had mixed feelings that it was like really up close and personal because I get that it's kind of supposed to be like a continuation of interview. But I don't know. I don't know if any of the answers were super, super amazing. Like there were none that I would like stand up and be like, yes. Like they were all good. But I don't think there were any that really, really stood out to me.
I think at that point they kind of already know who they want. So I think that's just a little bit of icing on the cake.
Sure.
And yeah, I don't know. That's always hard when they say that they're not scoring, but maybe they are. Maybe they really aren't scoring because they already know who they want. Everyone's
silently judging.
Well, everyone's so good at that point where it's really a horse apiece.
It really is. I mean, all the girls in top 5 like could have definitely taken it, I think. I mean, like all of them were very well rounded. I had this random bullet in here somewhere. Oh yeah, okay. I just want to say that Carrie-Ann Inaba, who was one of the hosts, after every single question or onstage question, whatever area where she was emceeing, she would comment on each girl's answer. And that's like definitely a no-no for an MC. Like an MC should not be like, that was great, like well said, awesome job, like you know, like judging on how well they did, because you're not supposed to influence the judges at all. And I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't know. I was not a fan of the hosts this year. I
miss Chris Harrison.
I want Chris Harrison back.
I just really like him.
He's an angel.
I know. I miss him.
We love Chris Harrison.
We love him. And then after they did their questions, Cara had her farewell, which was, I mean, seconds long. That thing, I mean,
I'm so salty. Like,
he was not a priority. Let's just put it that way.
I know. I'm sad. I'm so sad for her that she had an awful year, because Miss America is something that so many women look forward to. Like, so many women have worked so hard for that job, and I'm so sad that she had just an awful year, and it did not end well either. I mean, she was like off stage the whole time, and I mean, I guess in past Miss America telecasts, like the current Miss America really isn't there too often. But I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad that they didn't do like a little blurb about like her year of service, or like what was she up to this year.
They probably didn't want to know, because they probably knew she had a really bad year, so they were kind of nervous what she was going to say. And honestly, what would she, you know?
Right, exactly. And like I mentioned this before, but Cara's mom posted on Facebook that there was no reason for family and friends to come and watch, because Cara would really not have any part in the show other than her 30-second farewell and crowning, because I guess this was part of like her punishment or something like that. And I'm just like, she must be so relieved right now that she's done with this. But I remember after Cara's farewell, the crowd just went nuts. Like, people were standing up and clapping and cheering, like so much that you almost couldn't hear the hosts. I don't know. That was kind of cool, because there are so many people that support her, and I fully support her, because I think that's just a lesson that we learn. And like a lesson that we learned from being involved in Miss America is to speak up for what you believe in. And she was mistreated. So I think she's a rock star for that. But
I do too. It makes me sad for how many, it makes me wonder how many contestants didn't agree with 2.0, but they kind of played the game so, maybe they could advance more, or, get what they want, which is so sad.
Right. I mean, in a perfect world, it would be a completely fair competition, but we know that there's got to be some sort of politics associated with it, which is unfortunate. We just don't know what happens behind the scenes. So after Cara's farewell, they move on to the results. And I thought it could go anywhere. But it ended up, fourth runner-up was Massachusetts, which I kind of expected after her talent. It wasn't my favorite, and I don't think that she was very happy with it either. Third runner-up was Florida. Second runner-up, Louisiana. First runner-up, Connecticut. And then Miss America, obviously, is New York. But can we talk about her reaction?
It was very underwhelming. Well, the whole production to me was underwhelming.
Yes, the whole production I was kind of bored with. There were some parts that I was like, okay, this is okay. But overall, I was like, I don't know, not really impressed.
I don't think she knew whether to be happy, sad. It was kind of like, oh, crap,
Right. And it was unusual, because in past years, like when Miss America's crowned, like people just go crazy. But honestly, I don't blame her for being, if she is unhappy or nervous, like she has every right to be, because it's been quite the year. But
can you guess what part of the crowning I was most upset about? I guess there's two things, but they really go hand in hand.
Were you upset with the song?
The song and the runway. The lack of runway.
The lack of runway! People were pointing that out. I guess I didn't really notice it last night, but there was no runway.
If I won Miss America and there was no runway, or the There She Is song, like, that's just the coolest part, I think.
Right.
I mean, not of the
just
whole
like you're soaking up your moment, and
but
the song, There She Is, like the whole song is playing, and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. But
the parents always run up at the end of the runway, and
her mom was super cute, though. I noticed that, like, her mom was so excited for her. Like, I think her mom was more excited than she was.
People were saying after she was crowned, she's like, where does she walk? There's no runway. I don't know why they got rid of that this year. Oh, well, I wonder what the thinking was behind that. I don't know if it's budget issues because never mind. Not gonna get into
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. I was sad that they didn't play the song, but I think I don't know if have they played the song in recent years? I don't
Yes.
remember. Did they? Okay.
Yes, I look
I
forward
can't
to it
remember.
here.
Okay, good. Good. But I don't know. I think I think New York, or I should call her Miss America now, Nia. I think she'll be a good Miss America.
Me too.
She advocates for the arts. She's going to Princeton, or she will go to Princeton when she's done with her year. I guess she has plans, but I think she'll be good. And I love that her talent was unusual, because I know she talked about this before, but you don't see many African American women doing opera, and I thought that was kind of cool that stood out, especially because she's really into arts education.
I think it's interesting how Miss America or the org used to always have a STEM emphasis, and now somebody who has an arts background and advocates for the arts won. So I kind of thought that was a nice little poke in the ribs, because one of my platforms when I was 18 years old was ensuring the future of the performing arts, and that was really important to me at the time. And I just remember that's when everybody was so on the STEM bandwagon, and I was so upset because the arts support STEM, but I'm really excited to see that aspect.
Me too.
Though I did want to have one point before we wrap up.
Yes.
I was reading the Pageant Junkies article on everything, and they made a point about Miss America becoming too relatable. And again, I need to stop using the word relatable, because it's just horrible. But,
I'm exhausted.
Right. But they made a point about how Miss America is supposed to be a cut above, and that it's becoming too normal. Like, they want somebody who's too normal. And honestly, I think that's a really good point. Miss America, she's supposed to be super talented and a great speaker and have it all. And I feel like now,
like the ideal woman, basically, is what it was intended to be.
And I feel like you can still be that and still relate to people, but I feel like they're normalizing it too much, where they're kind of saying anyone off the street can do it. And I think everyone has the potential to do really great, but at the same time, it should be somebody that, you strive to be like.
Right.
So I thought that was a really good point. I really, really, really liked that.
Did you also see, so they do the historic, like, toe dip into the Atlantic Ocean with the new Miss America. She was wearing sweats. Did you see that?
Is that on Instagram?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's, I don't know if it's on the Miss America Instagram or maybe, like, the Miss New York Instagram.
Okay.
But she was wearing, like, sweatpants and a sweatshirt. And I was like, what? Wait, what? Because usually Miss America wears, like, a cocktail dress or something. And I guess I'm not mad, because I would be out there wearing sweatpants if I could, but...
Right, I did see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. And her sweats have the new Miss America logo on it, which I have feelings about, but we won't talk about that.
So, yeah, they usually don't wear the sash, though, ever during the year.
I know. I think that's so weird. Anyway, okay. Final thoughts. Anything else?
That was my
How did you feel overall about this whole
Side
production?
Note, show me your shoes. I loved her Rockette outfit. I thought that was great.
I love yeah.
So I was all about that.
Oh, I'm a fan. Yep.
All right,
I dig that.
That's all for my final thoughts.
Yeah, I just have to say, I don't know. I thought it was a good attempt, but I was not impressed. I think all the contestants or candidates, I guess, were capable of it, but overall, I think it was maybe a little bit of a weak year. And there was nobody that I was really like, okay, I will remember her for a while.
Right. It was a very new and weird year, and I think it's weird because I think that if they would have had the old Miss America, the outcome could have been totally different.
I know. I always wonder too with judging, because they have a different panel of judges for prelims than they do finals. Yeah. I always wonder if they kept like the prelim judges, how it would turn out.
Yeah, that's really.
I'm curious. Can we do like a plot twist here where it's like, psych, we're not doing celebrity judges?
Yeah, that would be really weird.
I don't know. Ratings are going down anyway, so why not?
36%. Woohoo! I think I think they'll probably continue to go down too. I think people tuned in to see what was going to be different, and I actually had somebody come up to me today and talk to me about it, and they said, yeah, I watched it and it was really boring and I'm not going to watch again, which I thought was very candid.
Yeah.
But it's true.
I like honesty.
it's a lot of, it's a kind of a speaking competition with a talent thrown in now.
It is. Someone described it as like a glorified job interview.
It is. So
like basically just like a televised job interview that was too rehearsed, I guess.
They're not wrong.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it was a very strange year. Let's wrap up with something a little bit lighthearted because I feel like we're all very confused after this wild year of Miss America 2.0.
Let's look at our segment. What would you rather? Jess, do you want to read the question?
Yes. Okay. So actually, this Would You Rather we will post on our Facebook page. So you can go and head over to Crowned and Dangerous podcast over on Facebook and weigh in, or you can just slide into our DMs and give us a little message there. But would you rather be first runner-up every time you compete, every single time, or never make it into the top 10 over and over and over?
I would probably rather be first runner-up for the scholarship money. That's a really good perk. But I have been first runner-up. Oh gosh, let me silently count.
Let me add on additional fingers to my hand for all the times that I didn't win.
I've been first runner-up at least 5 times or more.
For sure.
Yes. So it's one of those feelings where it's great, but at the same time you were so close that you just kind of want to know how close it was and everything. But then again, if you're never making it into the 10-2, that's really hard.
I know.
Because if you try so hard and you don't even get to do the final night show.
Right. That also upsets me. Like if you don't make top 10, you don't get to perform again on the final night. But I agree with you that I would rather be first runner up over and over and over just for the scholarship money.
Right. Yep.
I think I would probably choose that.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, that's a tricky one. So let us know what you think. Head on over to Facebook, give us a like, throw some comments on there. But you can weigh into this week's Would You Rather. And then we've got a crown cringe. We've got a couple crown cringes, which are some stories that we've had from personal experiences, maybe weird things that have happened to us at appearances, or just like ultimate fails during competition. Do you want to start this one off, Maddie? Because I like this one.
Oh my gosh. So I mentioned on our last episode that I was very shy and I was kind of weird, but I also mentioned how much I detest onstage question. That's not really against anything with Miss America or Miss USA or anything. It's just that I personally don't like it because I think that I interview a lot better than I give onstage questions, because a lot of people, and mostly my friends, know that I'm also not known for giving fantastic onstage questions. I think every once in a while, one will be decently good, but I just don't like it. I just think it's, the audience, the sound of your voice in a microphone. I don't know. It's really weird for me. But my very first pageant I did, which I also talked about was a little bit cringy and awkward, was our onstage question. And this is back when you could be asked anything, platform, or anything off your fact sheet. So of course I was pulling for a fact sheet question because those ones are usually easier.
Mm-hmm.
I know some girls were asked, what's your favorite style of dance or something like that? And that would have been a breeze because I danced for 15 years. But they asked me, and Jess and I talked about our very first platforms, which don't really relate to, they relate to us in a way, but they don't really have anything to do with us anymore. Like if you know us now, it just doesn't really add up. And Jess's was on liver disease awareness and mine was on cancer awareness, which are both two very important causes. But now we just have feminist girl power platforms, which is way more up our alleys.
Love it.
Anyways, so the MC asked me quick side note. I also said in the podcast last week how in my interview they asked me what the number one most popular form of cancer was, and I had no idea.
I just think that's so funny.
Which is hilarious. But then for my onstage question, they asked, what are some steps you can take to prevent cancer? Which you think you would automatically say, don't smoke, put on sunscreen, don't go in a tanning bed.
Right.
Kind of
the standard.
the standard procedures, go get your moles checked, stuff like that. And in my mind, I just froze, which is what I usually do during onstage question. And yeah, you just kind of have that second. And I'm like, well, this is my 18-year-old, positive Nancy self. I'm just like, well, all you really have to do is just eat healthy and exercise. That's how you prevent cancer. Which, in a way, okay, yes,
that's
really,
true.
I mean, no. And I just remember being so embarrassed after the pageant. I was first runner-up, so I didn't totally tank or anything. But I just remember my family making fun of me for that. And then I would never want to watch the video after because everybody would make fun of me for that answer.
I'm so sorry.
Which, I mean, still happens. I mean,
your family just makes fun of you.
They do, but I mean, that's our relationship. But that's my crown cringe, just because the onstage questions, it's so cringy when you're watching a contestant and it just does not go the way they want it to, and you just don't know what to do.
I feel for every single contestant that has had an awful answer, because I know that feeling, and you're like, I am the worst. I am an idiot. But it's not true. It's not true. Everybody has bad days.
Right. Okay, your crown cringe.
My crown cringe. Okay, I'm really trying to think hard about these crown cringe moments because I've had so many of them, but I lose track.
It's hard to recall them.
It is hard to recall them. You just kind of get through them and move on. Right. But okay, yeah, at our state pageant this year, so I was doing swimsuit, and during swimsuit I have little inserts that go in my swimsuit top, just for stage. And I did not realize it at the time, but now I will never forget to double check. I got my photos back from the state pageant, and the little insert thing that was supposed to be in my swimsuit was hardcore, falling out of my swimsuit. And I was like, oh my God, these pictures, oh my God, so embarrassing, because there's this little silicone boob insert that's basically just falling out of my swimsuit, and now everybody knows I'm a fake. So that was a little bit cringy for me because it's just embarrassing. Nobody wants to have undergarments or anything showing on stage, and I always cringe a little bit if I do see someone with their underwear showing on stage, or you can see panty lines or something. I don't know. So I was cringing for myself. I was like, oh God, Jess, you should really double check and make sure you have everything under control.
That's hilarious.
I don't know. That's not my biggest cringe. I really need to think about my really big cringe moments.
Yeah, send us in if you have any cringe moments that you want to share, and then we can read them on if you're not too embarrassed.
We can keep them anonymous, but I would love to read people's embarrassing moments. Honestly, pageant or not pageant, I just love hearing people's embarrassing stories.
That might trigger some of ours too.
Yes. So please send them in. This can be on Instagram or Facebook. So we're the same handle everywhere. So on Instagram, it's at Crowned and Dangerous. And on Facebook, we are Crowned and Dangerous Podcast. So you can head on over there, follow along. You can head over to iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, and you can also subscribe there so you don't miss any of our episodes. This has been a very special couple of weeks because we're about to have 3 weeks in a row where we're having consistent episodes, because this week we wanted to do a little special edition for Miss America. But after this, we will be uploading every 2 weeks. So every other week on Thursdays, you'll get a new episode from us. So you can hop on to wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe and rate us and shoot a little review and follow along on social media, because we love hearing from people. So it's
exactly. Well, this has been Jess and Maddie from Crowned and Dangerous, and we just want to remind you to always wear your invisible crown, keep it real, and if you do not know what to say, world peace.
Always. All right. See you next time.